Imagine for a moment that the most powerful tool to conquer procrastination isn't an app, a productivity hack, or the latest time management technique. What if it's something already within you, waiting to be discovered and harnessed? This isn't just a thought experiment. It's a reality rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that has guided countless individuals throughout history to live with purpose, resilience, and tranquility. Procrastination, the insidious habit of delaying important tasks, is a struggle we all face. It's the silent thief of time, the saboteur of our goals, and often the source of our deepest regrets. But what if I told you that Stoicism offers a profound antidote to this universal challenge? Stoicism teaches that the key to overcoming procrastination isn't found in external tools or tricks, but in mastering our minds and aligning our actions with our deepest values. It's a powerful reminder that despite the distractions and temptations of the modern world, we hold within us the unshakable foundation for productivity, purpose, and peace of mind. Today, we're peeling back the layers of procrastination, uncovering its root causes, and exploring how timeless Stoic principles can transform the way we approach our tasks, time, and ultimately our lives. This journey is about more than just getting things done. It's about rediscovering our inherent power to act with intention and live in alignment with our highest selves. So if you're ready to break free from the chains of procrastination and unlock the doors to personal freedom, productivity, and fulfillment, you're in the right place. Let's embark on this journey together, exploring how the wisdom of Stoicism can illuminate the path to purposeful action and achievement. All I ask is that you don't skip this video. If you're here, consider yourself different from the majority. Consider yourself an exception. Now act like one and stay engaged. Your journey to mastering procrastination through Stoic wisdom begins now. Number 1. Relevant Stoic Principles. At the heart of Stoicism lies a profound understanding of human nature and our relationship with the world around us. To truly understand how this ancient philosophy can help us overcome procrastination, we must first explore some of its core principles. First and foremost, Stoicism emphasizes the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." This simple yet powerful idea is the cornerstone of Stoic thought. When it comes to procrastination, understanding what's within our control is crucial. We may not have control over external deadlines, the complexity of a task, or the distractions around us. However, we have complete control over our thoughts, judgments, and actions in response to these circumstances. Consider how often we delay tasks because we feel overwhelmed by factors beyond our control. The Stoic approach invites us to shift our focus. Instead of fixating on the enormity of a project or the potential for failure, we're encouraged to concentrate on what we can control: our effort, our attitude, and our commitment to taking action, however small. Another key Stoic principle relevant to overcoming procrastination is the importance of virtuous action. The Stoics believed that living a good life meant living by virtue, primarily wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. Procrastination, in many ways, is a failure of self-control, a momentary lapse in our commitment to wisdom and courage. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This strength lies in choosing virtuous action over momentary comfort or distraction. When we procrastinate, we often opt for short-term pleasure or avoidance instead of the long-term satisfaction of living up to our potential and values. Stoicism's emphasis on the present moment offers a powerful remedy. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, warned, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied but wasteful of it." Procrastination is, in essence, a denial of the present moment, a pushing off of what could and should be done now into an imagined future. We rob procrastination of its power by focusing on the present and fully inhabiting each moment. The Stoics teach us that this moment, right now, is all we truly have. The past is gone and the future is uncertain, but the present is where all action, change, and progress happen. Finally, Let's consider the Stoic practice of negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum. This involves imagining worst-case scenarios, not to induce anxiety, but to mentally and emotionally prepare for challenges. How does this relate to procrastination? Often, we put off tasks because we fear failure, imperfection, or discomfort. By visualizing these potential outcomes, acknowledging them, and realizing we can handle them, we strip procrastination of much of its emotional fuel. Imagine the worst that could happen if you tackle that daunting task right now. You might struggle, maybe even fail at first. But as Epictetus reassures us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. The Stoics remind us that temporary discomfort or failure is acceptable and often necessary for growth and success. These Stoic principles, focusing on what we can control, committing to virtuous action, living in the present moment, and preparing ourselves for challenges, form a powerful framework for addressing procrastination. They shift our perspective from avoidance and fear to acceptance and action. As we internalize these principles, we begin to see procrastination not as an unconquerable foe, but as an opportunity to practice wisdom, exercise courage, and strengthen our self-control. Every moment we choose action over delay, purpose over distraction, we're not just completing tasks, we're building character, living our values, and moving closer to our highest potential. In the next section, we'll explore how to translate these profound Stoic insights into practical techniques for overcoming procrastination in our daily lives. Remember, the goal isn't just to be more productive, it's to live more fully, more intentionally, and more in alignment with our true selves. The Stoics have handed us the tools. Now let's learn how to wield them. Number 2, practical Stoic techniques to combat procrastination. Now that we've established the philosophical foundation, let's dive into practical Stoic techniques you can apply today to combat procrastination. These methods aren't just productivity hacks. They are time-tested practices for aligning your actions with your values and living with greater purpose and effectiveness. One of the most powerful techniques is breaking tasks into smaller, manageable parts. The Stoics understood the value of incremental progress. Seneca advised, divide each difficulty into as many parts as is feasible and necessary to resolve it. This is especially effective when faced with overwhelming tasks. When you find yourself procrastinating on a large project, take a moment to break it down. Instead of thinking, I need to write a 20-page report, reframe it as, I'll start by creating an outline, or I'll write the introduction today. This aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what's within our control. While the entire project might seem daunting, the first small step is within your power. Each completed small task builds momentum, making the next steps easier. Marcus Aurelius emphasized, you must build up your life action by action and be content if each one achieves its goal. Small, consistent actions are key. Another powerful tool is practicing negative visualization to reduce task anxiety. Often we procrastinate because we're anxious about potential negative outcomes. By facing these fears head-on, we reduce their power. Take a moment to visualize the worst-case scenario if you tackle the task you've been avoiding. What's the worst that could happen? Maybe you'll struggle, or the outcome won't be perfect. But ask yourself, can I handle that? The answer is almost always yes. Epictetus wisely stated, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By mentally preparing for challenges, you build resilience and reduce the anxiety that often fuels procrastination. This practice also helps maintain perspective. The consequences of procrastination are usually far worse than any imagined negative outcome. When we compare our worst fears to the real consequences of delay, we find motivation to act. The Stoic principle of memento mori, remember you must die, can also be a powerful motivator against procrastination. This idea may sound morbid, but for the Stoics, it served as a reminder of the finite nature of time and the importance of making the most of each moment. Marcus Aurelius urged, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. When you feel the pull of procrastination, remind yourself of the preciousness of time. Ask yourself, If this were my last day, would I spend it avoiding important tasks, or would I use my time meaningfully? This isn't about inducing anxiety, but about creating urgency and purpose. Recognizing the value of our time encourages us to align our actions with our deepest values and goals. Practicing mindfulness and present moment awareness is another essential Stoic technique for overcoming procrastination. Stoicism teaches the importance of living in the present moment. Procrastination often stems from dwelling on past failures or anxiously anticipating future challenges. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we can break this cycle. When you notice yourself procrastinating, pause and take a few deep breaths. Focus on the present moment and ask, what can I do right now to move forward? Even if it's something small, like opening the document or writing the first sentence, focus on that immediate action. Marcus Aurelius advised, confine yourself to the present. By engaging fully with the task at hand and focusing on the now, you can overcome the mental resistance that leads to delay. Reflecting on your values and long-term goals can also be a powerful motivator. The Stoics placed great emphasis on living in accordance with one's values. When we procrastinate, we often act against our deeply held principles and goals. Take time to reflect on why the task you're avoiding is important. How does it align with your values? How will completing it contribute to your long-term goals? By connecting our actions to our core values, we find deeper motivation and purpose. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Regularly reminding ourselves of our aspirations and values creates a powerful counterforce to procrastination. Finally, it's essential to practice self-compassion. While the Stoics advocated for discipline and virtue, they also recognized the importance of self-compassion. Procrastination often involves a cycle of delay, self-criticism, and further delay. To break this cycle, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. When you procrastinate, resist the urge to engage in harsh self-criticism. Instead, approach yourself with the same understanding and encouragement you would offer a friend. Seneca reminded us, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Often our self-criticism is harsher than any external judgment. By practicing self-compassion, we create a supportive internal environment that makes it easier to take action. Applying these Stoic techniques takes practice and patience. The goal isn't perfection, but progress. Each time you choose action over procrastination, you're not just completing a task, you're building character, strengthening your will, and moving closer to living a life of purpose and virtue. As Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Let your actions be a living embodiment of Stoic wisdom. With time, you'll find that overcoming procrastination becomes less about getting things done and more about living intentionally, with purpose and fulfillment. Number 3, addressing common misconceptions about procrastination and productivity. As we delve deeper into the Stoic approach to overcoming procrastination, it's crucial to address common misconceptions that often hinder our progress. These misunderstandings can cloud our judgment and lead us away from the path of productive, purposeful living. One common misconception is that procrastination is simply laziness. This couldn't be further from the truth. Procrastination is a complex behavior, often rooted in fear, perfectionism, or overwhelm, not a character flaw or moral failing. The Stoic perspective encourages us to look deeper. As Epictetus said, "The appearance of things to the mind is the standard of every action to man." Procrastination often stems from how we perceive a task or its potential outcomes. By recognizing this, we can change our relationship with the tasks we avoid, realizing that procrastination isn't laziness, but a sign that we need to shift our mindset. Another misconception is that productivity means constant busyness. In our fast-paced world, many believe that to be productive, we must be constantly busy. However, the Stoics argue that true productivity is about meaningful action aligned with our values, not just ceaseless activity. Seneca warned, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Sometimes our pursuit of busyness becomes a form of procrastination, keeping us preoccupied with minor tasks while avoiding the work that truly matters. The Stoic approach to productivity emphasizes quality over quantity, urging us to focus on what really matters and to find the courage to say no to distractions, even when they come disguised as productive tasks. Another misconception is that motivation always precedes action. Many of us fall into the trap of waiting for motivation to strike before we begin a task, thinking we need to feel inspired or energized to start. However, the Stoics would argue that action often precedes motivation. As Marcus Aurelius advised, you must build up your life action by action and be content if each one achieves its goal. Motivation follows once we generate momentum by taking small, consistent actions. The Stoics teach that waiting for motivation is a delay tactic. Instead, we should start acting, and motivation will follow. A common myth is that procrastination is merely a time management issue. While better time management can certainly help, it's not the root cause of procrastination. Procrastination is more about emotion management than time management. The Stoics understood that our emotions and judgments drive our actions. Epictetus taught, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." When we procrastinate, it's often because we've negatively judged the task or our ability to complete it. By managing our perceptions and emotional responses, rather than just trying to fit more tasks into our schedules, we can address procrastination at its source. Lastly, many believe that perfection is the goal, but perfectionism is a common culprit behind procrastination. We delay starting or finishing tasks because we fear the result won't be perfect. However, the Stoics remind us that perfection is an impossible standard. As Epictetus wisely said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." While pursuing excellence is noble, the demand for perfection can be paralyzing. The Stoic approach encourages us to focus on progress and learning rather than chasing an unattainable ideal. By accepting imperfection, we free ourselves to take action and grow. By challenging these misconceptions, we can adopt a more balanced and realistic approach to productivity and procrastination. The Stoic way isn't about becoming a productivity machine. It's about living intentionally, making wise choices about how we spend our time and energy, and continually striving to align our actions with our values. Number 4, real-life examples and scenarios. Let's explore real-life scenarios to see how Stoic principles can help us overcome procrastination. These examples will show how Stoic wisdom can be applied to common situations where procrastination tends to surface. Scenario 1, the overwhelming project. Imagine you have a large, complex project at work. Its sheer size leaves you feeling paralyzed, and you find yourself procrastinating, unsure of where to begin. Stoic approach. This is where the principle of breaking tasks into smaller, manageable parts becomes essential. Instead of focusing on the enormity of the project, identify one small task you can tackle right now. Perhaps it's creating an outline or researching a specific element. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do not be overwhelmed by what you still have to do. Instead, say to yourself, I will accomplish this task too, in its proper order, one thing at a time." By focusing on the immediate, manageable steps, you'll build momentum and reduce the overwhelm. Scenario 2, the fear of failure. You've been putting off starting your own business due to fear of failure. The possibility of setbacks or criticism holds you back from taking the first step. Stoic approach. Negative visualization can be a powerful tool in this situation. Imagine the worst-case scenario. What if your business does fail? Can you handle that outcome? In most cases, you'll realize that even the worst scenario is manageable. As Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Facing your fears directly diminishes their power. Remember that in Stoicism, your worth is not defined by the success or failure of your business, but by your effort and character. Scenario 3, the distraction of social media. You sit down to work on an important task but keep reaching for your phone, scrolling through social media instead of focusing on your work. Stoic approach. This is a chance to practice mindfulness and present moment awareness. When the urge to check your phone arises, pause, take a deep breath, and focus on the present. Ask yourself, as Marcus Aurelius might, is this the best use of my time right now? Is this action aligned with my values and goals? By consciously choosing how to spend each moment, you regain control over your time and focus. Scenario 4, the mundane but necessary task. You've been procrastinating on filing your taxes or organizing your finances. It's not enjoyable, but it's necessary. Stoic approach. This scenario is an opportunity to practice virtue and responsibility. The Stoics believed in doing what's right, not just what's enjoyable. As Epictetus taught, do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. Reframe the task as an opportunity to cultivate self-discipline and responsibility. Focus on the sense of accomplishment and peace of mind you'll feel once the task is complete. Scenario 5, the perfectionist dilemma. You're working on a creative project but keep delaying its completion because it doesn't feel perfect yet. Stoic approach. Stoicism teaches us to value progress over perfection. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. The courage to share your work, even if it's imperfect, is more valuable than endless tweaking. Also, remember the Stoic concept of memento mori. Remember you must die. If your time were truly limited, and it is, would you spend it endlessly refining this project? Or would you finish it and move on to other meaningful work? By applying Stoic principles to these real-life scenarios, we can see how this ancient philosophy provides practical tools for overcoming procrastination. The key is to practice these approaches consistently, turning Stoic insights from abstract concepts into lived experiences. Number 5, reflective questions. As we near the end of our exploration of Stoicism and procrastination, it's important to turn inward and reflect on how these principles can apply in our own lives. Reflection is a core aspect of Stoicism, helping us examine our thoughts, behaviors, and progress. Consider the tasks you've been avoiding. Is there a project you keep putting off? Reflect on the reasons behind this procrastination. Often, it's not laziness, but deeper fears, doubts, or judgments that hold us back. Ask yourself what fears might be driving this hesitation. What judgments have you made about the task or yourself? Once you've identified the task, think about how you can break it down into smaller parts. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when faced with a large goal, but by dividing it into manageable pieces, you can take that first step. Even if it's just a small action, like writing a rough outline or gathering initial research, this shift in focus can make a daunting project feel more achievable. Now imagine the worst-case scenario. What's the worst that could happen if you tackled this task and things didn't go as planned? Visualizing this can often reduce the fear, because once we mentally prepare for the worst, it no longer holds as much power over us. How likely is that outcome? And if it did happen, could you handle it? Most often, you'll realize you can. Next, reflect on how completing this task aligns with your values and long-term goals. Why is this task important? What will it mean for your future once it's done? By reconnecting with the deeper purpose behind your work, you can find the motivation needed to push forward. Ask yourself if you've been holding off due to perfectionism. Often we delay starting or finishing something because we want it to be perfect. But Stoicism teaches us that progress is more important than perfection. How can you shift your mindset from demanding flawlessness to valuing the effort and learning process? Consider how often you bring your full attention to the present moment. Procrastination frequently stems from a lack of mindfulness, as we get distracted by future worries or past regrets. How can you be more mindful throughout your day? Maybe by setting aside time for deep work or consciously removing distractions. Finally, reflect on whether you've been acting as if you have unlimited time. Stoicism reminds us of the finite nature of life, a concept captured in the practice of memento mori. If you truly embrace the idea that time is limited, how would that change your priorities? Would you spend more time scrolling through social media, or would you devote your energy to meaningful work and personal growth? Take a moment to journal about these reflections. Writing things down can help clarify your thoughts and solidify your intentions. Then move from reflection to action. The Stoics believed that philosophy should be lived, not just contemplated. What can you do today to start breaking the cycle of procrastination? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like it, and share it with friends who might benefit from it.